There's a painting that's captured the world's attention for centuries, a portrait that seems to have more questions than answers. The Mona Lisa, painted by the genius Leonardo da Vinci, is not just one of the most famous works of art. It's one of the most mysterious. The way she looks at you, it's almost like she knows something we don't. Da Vinci understood how the human eye perceives depth and perspective, and he used that knowledge to create a painting that seems to follow you around the room. Welcome to our deep dive into the Mona Lisa, a painting whose smile, gaze, and very existence have sparked curiosity, theories, and debates for over 500 years. Because the Mona Lisa isn't just a pretty face, it's a window into the mind of a genius and a reflection of ourselves. First, let's talk about the artist himself, Leonardo da Vinci. Born in 1452 in Vinci, Italy, Leonardo was not just a painter, but also a scientist, inventor, and mathematician. Talk about a Renaissance man. This was a time when people were finally starting to break free from the shackles of the Middle Ages and embrace curiosity and innovation. His brilliance wasn't confined to the canvas. His notebooks are filled with sketches of inventions, anatomical studies, and theories on human emotion. We're talking flying machines centuries before the Wright brothers, anatomical drawings that were more accurate than anything doctors were using at the time. The man was thinking centuries ahead. The Mona Lisa was painted between 1503 and 1506, though Leonardo continued working on it for several years. He wasn't just churning out paintings. He was constantly refining, experimenting, trying to capture something truly unique.
But the Mona Lisa's fame didn't begin until much later. Its rise to global recognition came after a shocking event that would forever change its place in history.
In 1911, the Mona Lisa was stolen from the Louvre by an Italian named Vincenzo Peruggia. Can you imagine the audacity? This wasn't just some petty theft. It was the art world's equivalent of stealing the crown jewels. Peruggia, a museum employee, believed the painting belonged in Italy, not France. The theft turned the Mona Lisa into a global sensation. Before it was stolen, it was just one of many famous works in the Louvre.
But when the news broke that the Mona Lisa was missing, the world went nuts. Suddenly, everyone was talking about this enigmatic woman with the knowing smile. Newspapers around the world ran stories about the theft. People were desperate for any scrap of information, and the mystery only fueled the public's fascination. In 1913, the painting was recovered and returned to the Louvre, but by then, it had already become an icon. That's the power of a good mystery, folks. It captures our imagination, forces us to ask questions, and makes us see things in a whole new light. And in the case of the Mona Lisa, it transformed her from a museum piece into a global phenomenon.
One of the biggest mysteries surrounding the Mona Lisa is her smile. It's that one feature that draws you in, that makes you wonder what she's thinking. Is she amused, knowing, slightly mischievous? It's hard to say for sure, and that's part of its allure. It has been described as enigmatic, shifting from sweet to melancholic depending on how you look at it. Some days you see serenity, other days maybe a hint of sadness. It's almost like the painting itself is alive, changing with the light, our mood, our own perceptions.
What is she really feeling? Is she happy, sad, or perhaps something more complex? See, that's the beauty of great art. It invites interpretation. It doesn't give you all the answers, it makes you ask the questions. Art critics have been captivated by her smile for centuries. Some believe it reflects the ambiguity of human emotion. Because, let's face it, we're complex creatures. We don't experience emotions in a vacuum. There's always a mix of feelings, subtle nuances that are hard to pin down. Others argue it's a clever technique by Leonardo to convey inner conflict, something that's not immediately obvious but is felt subtly as you look at her.
Chapter 4. The woman behind the smile, fact, fiction, or fusion. So who is the woman in the painting? Was it someone Leonardo knew? A figment of his imagination? Or maybe a bit of both? The most widely accepted theory is that she's Lisa Gherardini, a woman from Florence and the wife of a wealthy merchant named Francesco del Giocondo. Now, Lisa Gherardini doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, does it? But that's where the title La Gioconda comes from, which means the joyful one in Italian. Though looking at her, joyful might not be the first word that comes to mind. However, there are other theories. Because what's a good mystery without a few alternative explanations? Some believe she could be a composite of several women Leonardo knew, a kind of average face of Renaissance beauty. while others suggest that the painting could even be a self-portrait of Leonardo himself, disguised as a woman. And that's where things get really interesting. Is it possible that one of the most famous portraits of a woman is actually a man in disguise? It sounds outlandish, but remember, this is Leonardo da Vinci we're talking about. The man was full of surprises. The truth is, we may never know for sure, and maybe that's okay, because the mystery is part of what makes the Mona Lisa so endlessly fascinating. Chapter 5. The Mona Lisa's Eyes. A window to the soul. Another fascinating feature of the Mona Lisa is her gaze. Have you ever noticed how, no matter where you stand in front of the painting, it seems as though her eyes are always watching you? It's a bit unnerving, isn't it? Like she's looking right through you, reading your thoughts. This phenomenon is thought to be a result of Leonardo's masterful use of perspective and light. He created an effect that makes the viewer feel as if they're being drawn into the painting, establishing a connection between the subject and the observer. It's almost like he's broken the fourth wall, creating a dialogue between the painting and the viewer. And that's what separates a good painting from a truly great one. It's not just about the technical skill, it's about the emotional impact, the way it makes you feel. Chapter 6. Mona Lisa under the microscope. What lies beneath the surface? In recent years, modern technology has helped uncover some of the secrets hidden beneath the surface of the Mona Lisa.
Using X-rays, infrared imaging, and other tools, scientists have been able to see details that were not visible to the naked eye. It's like having X-ray vision, allowing us to peer beneath the layers of paint and see what Leonardo was up to. For example, X-ray scans have revealed that the Mona Lisa originally had eyebrows and eyelashes, which were later removed. Now, why would Leonardo paint them in only to take them out later? Was it a stylistic choice? Did he decide it made her look too severe? Or was it just a happy accident? Some speculate that Leonardo made these changes to create a more idealized version of his subject. Remember, this was the Renaissance, a time when beauty was often associated with perfection. So maybe Leonardo was trying to create the ideal female face, one that transcended the imperfections of real life.
Chapter 7. More than just a painting. The Mona Lisa's cultural impact. The Mona Lisa's influence extends far beyond the art world. It's become a global cultural icon, appearing in everything from advertisements to movies, cartoons, and even memes. Think about it. How many other paintings can you say that about? She's been on coffee mugs and t-shirts, parodied in movies and TV shows, and even used to sell everything from cars to toothpaste. She's become a universal symbol of beauty, mystery, and the enduring power of art. From parodies to profound interpretations, the Mona Lisa continues to inspire and provoke thought in ways that few works of art can. Chapter 8. The Enduring Enigma. Why we're still talking about the Mona Lisa. Despite all we know about the Mona Lisa, her creator, her identity, her cultural impact, she remains an enigma. Her smile, her gaze, the very essence of the painting, continue to provoke curiosity and interpretation. She's a puzzle that we can't help but try to solve, even though we know the answer might always be just out of reach. Perhaps it's this very mystery that makes the Mona Lisa so timeless. It's not just a painting, it's an experience, one that will continue to fascinate and inspire people for generations to come. She reminds us that art is not always meant to be understood, but to be experienced. It's about the emotions it evokes, the questions it raises, the conversations it sparks. The mystery continues. Thanks for joining us on this journey through the mysteries of the Mona Lisa. We've explored her history, her secrets, and her impact on culture. But most importantly, we've seen how a single work of art can continue to captivate and inspire us centuries after it was created. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know your thoughts on the Mona Lisa in the comments below. We'll see you next time with more fascinating art and history.